We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with DLane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle. It's your boy, Coach DLane. I'm in the building again with my brother, Keaton McCoy. How you doing this morning, brother?
Doing well, brother. I'm just surviving after a long weekend. Just put it like that.
Yeah, definitely a long weekend. It's Monday. Let's attack the week. Be great, people. Let's start, man. We got a lot to talk about. On today's show. It's still ranking season for us, so we'll definitely be ranking some cornerbacks and safeties today. So the DBs. That's my area expertise. So I'm definitely excited to do those rankings. But let's start with the local team. Week 1 of preseason just passed by. Trey Lance performance. What did you see? Anything that you like or didn't like from Trey Lance performance?
First and foremost, his motion looked a whole lot better. He played with more confidence. So you can definitely tell that he's more comfortable this year. Bottom line for him is just getting reps, man. I still don't like the way the ball always comes out, but he's throwing with a lot more touch and different tempos, and that's what I love. But the bottom line for him is just getting reps, man. I thought it was a nice start, but obviously he still has work to do, but he just needs more and more reps. Like, they just got to keep playing them and playing them. So it was a very encouraging start, so I can definitely say that for sure. And he was impressive, but I try not to get too high on preseason games because, as Shannon and Sharp says, I mean, a lot of these guys are going to be driving buses and stuff in the next couple of weeks. So,
yeah, man. What I try to look out for in the preseason, is, can you play? At the end of the day, can this guy play? You know, is he fat? Is the NFL level not too fast for him? Is he adapting to the speed of the game at an easy pace or whatnot, and being able to pick things up? Can he play at the end of the day? That's all I want to be able to see in the preseason. With Trey Lance performance, gotta say that the delivery definitely looks a lot better and quicker. You can tell they've been working on it all summer. He tightening it up a little bit. It's not as long as it was before. Still can use some work. You could tell early on his first few passes was real crisp and motion put together. But even on the touchdown throw to Gray, you could tell he got back a little bit to the long throwing motion. So you could tell that's something that they'll be working on throughout the season with Trey. But yeah, he definitely looked a lot better. You could, as you said a minute ago, he just needs reps, man. The kid needs reps. I see no reason why he shouldn't be playing a little bit in every preseason game just to get those reps. But yeah, I did see some good early on signs for Trey Lance in the offense.
I guess one last thing that I am going to look out for is a little bit of the running game. Everybody wants to make a lot of noise about how good of a runner he is. I didn't see that when he was in college. I thought he was a good runner. The way people would definitively say he was the best running quarterback in that draft class, I had no idea why. Because he didn't seem to have wiggle, and he was basically just running over linebackers that are not going to be in the NFL. So I am interested to see that, because I do think his running is a little overstated, but he is a good runner. But that's one thing that I am interested to see. We probably won't see a lot, but if Kyle does a play here and there with him, I will be interested to see that.
Yeah, I doubt we'll probably see that in the preseason though. The use of his legs. Might want to save that for the regular season. But let's skip to another topic here, brother. Something that we were supposed to talk about last week on the pod. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and who can he depend on this season? We know supposedly Allen Lazard is supposed to be moving up the ranks from wide receiver 2 or 3 last year to now he's the number 1 guy. You got Randall Cobb, still got Tunyon, or you got Tunyon coming back off a knee injury last year at tight end. AJ Jones and Dylan still in the backfield. And then you got these 2 rookie cats, man. I really like Dobbs. Got to see Dobbs play a little more recently. The kid from Nevada that the Green Bay Packers drafted late in the draft. And then the Christian Watson kid that they drafted, I believe, in the 2nd round. Still haven't watched much of him yet. But yeah, brother, what's your take on the Packers this season, and who do you think Aaron Rodgers can depend on?
Depend on, that's a tricky thing to say. I think they're going to be really run game reliant. I think they're going to be a little bit more of like the Tom Brady offense, honestly. Basically, a lot of running game, a lot of swing passes and short passes. I think Aaron Jones is going to be featured a whole lot more because of that. And anybody that's in the slot too. The one guy out wide that I think that he can potentially depend on just based on pure raw talent would be Christian Watson. I like him. He's very talented, but I don't know. He's young. Sometimes he suffers from concentration drops. And once you're in the league, that stage gets bigger. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
Them concentration drops ain't gonna fly with A-Rod.
So I don't know. Especially Aaron's not the nicest when it comes to you making mistakes too.
You like the kid from Nevada?
I like him too. It's just hard for me to say that Aaron Rodgers is going to be patient enough with a rookie to have him make any impact. So I guess by process of elimination, Sammy Watkins, if he can just stay upright. But at this point, you can't say that. So honestly, I have no idea.
I actually, I'm interested to see what type of season Lazard can have as a wide receiver 1. I believe he has the build and makeup of it. Like big kid, like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", and can run. Definitely excited to see what he can do. I believe we'll see a lot or know a lot about LaFleur this year as a head coach. Because I believe they should go a little more 20 personnel, a lot more 20, 21 personnel this year, where you got 2 backs on the field. Heavy use of Tunyon with at the tight end position. But I remember when we were ranking running backs last pod, I said I would put A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones on the field as much as possible together. They're both legit threats that you have to be concerned about from the defensive perspective, especially when you're out there defending as a defensive player. You have to keep your eyes open and looking for Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. So if they're both in the game at the same time, that just makes your offense more of a threat. And then I can also see Aaron Rodgers we already know he's very efficient. I can see him having one of his more efficient seasons this year, just because they've won 13 games on average, right, brother? The last 3 seasons, you get to the playoffs and you flame out each of the last 3 seasons. Well, what's your MO at the end of the day? Yeah, we know Aaron Jones. We've seen Aaron Jones peak and rise to stardom over the last few seasons. But at the end of the day, what was the Green Bay Packers bread and butter? Aaron Rodgers, find Devontae Adams. Somewhere downfield he'll be open. Well, you don't have to do that this year as far as just because at times I didn't really see it or feel like he was force feeding Devontae, but it could be stretches in certain games where you felt like, damn, bro, this is the only person he's throwing the ball to. Like you could get that feeling from time to time over the last few years. So I believe with the, like you said, addition by subtraction, you take Devontae out, you plug in these 2 talented rookies, the 2 backs, like I said, Tunyon, and then you got Cobb, Lazard, and Watkins. I feel like if you spread the ball, he should spread the ball around a lot more this year and be very efficient. I could see like a 25 to 28 touchdown year with like 4 interceptions from A-Rod.
I'll say 30 and 4, and I'm only saying 30 just because he's A-Rod. Any other quarterback, I would say maybe 22, 23, but I'll give him 30 because he's A-Rod.
Gotcha. You good on A-Rod, brother?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Let's move on, man. Want to talk about a rookie quarterback that had a pretty good preseason week one performance. I believe he's not slated to be the starter for his team for week one right now, but I've seen enough. I didn't see a lot of his college tape. Know he did pretty good things at Liberty last year and was highly touted coming out. But Malik Willis looks good, man. I gotta say, I definitely seen some good things from him in his first start. The biggest takeaway for me, I will have to say, if you start that kid right away, him and Derrick Henry might have the most dangerous backfield in the NFL. If they started Malik Willis right now today, because the kid is a legit threat. He's not small by any means. He's definitely built and stacked right. Yeah, I love what I seen from the kid, brother. What about you? Your thoughts and take on Malik Willis?
Loved it. It was a great start. He definitely showed what he showed in college. But part of that is also he's a guy where whenever he does get an opportunity to play, his splash plays, I think, can make up for his consistency early on. It's going to be like Trey Lance this year where, like, his upside, I think, can make up for what you'll lack when it comes to consistency. He is a good runner. He's very, very elusive and he's strong. He's not that fast, which is very telling because he did not run his 40. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But he has a very strong arm and he's a hardworking kid. Personally, I do think Tannehill gets too much crap. And I do think Malik Willis would benefit from learning. But it's New Age NFL, and if you really want him to...
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, brother. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, like I was just going to say bless you. But overall, I loved what I saw, and he definitely showed that he has something.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Tannehill, brother. Not at all, especially after they drafted the young man. And I think Tannehill said something along the lines like it's not my job to tutor or coach him up and get him ready, which is it's not at all. When you're QB1, it's not your job to get ready, get that second guy ready or get the backup ready or whatever, by any means. But, just paying it forward, and helping out the younger guys on the roster. I'm a big fan of that. So I definitely didn't like Tannehill when he came out and said that. I'm actually hoping the young man comes in and takes his spot. But yeah, because a guy like I wouldn't mind my quarterback sitting behind a guy like Jimmy, a career 70% winner, a high completion percentage guy, a real man's man, a leader of men. The team loves him, over at San Francisco. I would love my guy to sit behind a guy like Jimmy and learn. I'm not really the biggest fan of Tannehill and his mode and makeup, flamed out in Miami. I wouldn't want one of my young guys sitting behind him. Me personally, brother.
Well, the one thing that I will say is this, especially when it comes to Miami, he was a lot better in Miami than what he gets credit for. As we saw with Sam Darnold being ruined by the Jets, he was able to make that Miami situation work to some extent, and they made the playoffs with him when they had no business doing that. I do like Tannehill. Is he fantastic? No, but I think he's a starter where you can definitely win with and you can win big with, but he's not a guy that's going to elevate you necessarily, but he's going to get the job done when it's there.
But anyway, Jimmy or Kyle? I mean, you taking Jimmy or Tannehill?
Is this on just raw talent? If it's raw talent, then I'm taking Ryan.
Oh hell no, brother, you tripping? I'm talking about to be your starter. If you had to build a franchise right now, and those were your only two options, and you had a set team,
Tannehill, because he can hit the deep ball,
brother. You crazy.
and he can throw outside the numbers.
We haven't seen
reason.
him win anything.
He's
had a stacked team the last 2 years, and they flamed out in the playoffs.
And Jimmy hasn't.
And Jimmy's been to the Super Bowl. And Jimmy's been to two NFC championship games.
One thing. You know as well as I do, they were winning in spite of him.
Brother, but he did it still at the end. Like I said, I know his numbers aren't pretty. I've never said Jimmy's
I don't
pretty.
give quarterbacks credit for being on great teams.
But man, at the end of the day, you still gotta be a part of that. Same, like I never was a big fan of Tebow, but Tebow
passes.
Huh? He threw like 7 passes. I know, against the Niners in one championship game. But brother, he got there. He took his team there. Tannehill, you have a stacked defense the last few years. You have the #1 rushing attack, a top 3 O-line for the last 3 years. I don't believe they got to a championship game yet. How can you? Or did he get to one? Did they get to one? No, they didn't get to one 2 years ago.
Yes, they got to one.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
No, the Chiefs played. Was that the Titans they played to play the Bucs?
It was.
Played the Bucs in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it was.
It was the Titans.
Yeah, and he upset Lamar Jackson.
You sure, brother? It was the Titans?
Yes, I'm 100% sure. He upset Lamar Jackson. He upset Tom Brady. He upset Lamar Jackson, and he ran into the best player in football.
No, I'm saying 2 years ago, the Chiefs played Brady in the Super Bowl. They played the Bucs.
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason, but Tannehill in that playoff run, he beat the Patriots with Brady, and then he beat Lamar.
So you going back 3 years ago? That was 3 years ago. You talking about the year? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm just saying, like, Ryan for his team has played better and has done more. Like he's been given the opportunity. Like thing about him,
because Kyle knows his guy. I feel like Variable doesn't know his guy as far as like you just said it a minute ago, brother. He's had more opportunity to make those big throws. As far as with Kyle, he's going to, hold Jimmy's hands a little more or dial up
right there, because Kyle knows that he has to.
I'm saying with Tannehill, I've seen him have the opportunity to make these throws time and time again. I haven't seen him make many big throws. Me personally, I haven't seen many big time plays from Tannehill.
All I'll say is this: ask Marlon Humphrey and ask Marcus Peters and ask Stephon Gilmore.
Man,
that's all that I'll say.
We can go on all day. Jimmy versus Tannehill. That was a crazy one for me. Like I said, you got me up here acting like I'm part of Jimmy's fan club or something, man. Cause I'm not even the biggest Jimmy fan, but goddamn, brother.
I don't give quarterbacks credit for being on great teams.
I got you. Let's move forward here because we got a couple more things to talk about before we dive into our rankings. My Eagles, man. Seen some good things. Week 1 took a loss though to the Jets. But I definitely seen some good things from our first unit. They both played about two to three drives on each side of the ball, offense and defense. But more so want to talk about Jalen Hurts here, brother. Statistically, what type of season are we looking at from him, and what would be considered a successful season for him statistically? Because the team looks loaded, man. I'm sorry. How he did a pretty good job of putting this roster together. There's talent at a lot of places.
I would say maybe 700 yards rushing, 3,400 yards passing, in that range. I'll give him 25 touchdowns throwing and probably 8 running. I think that would be, for what people want him to be, I think that would be statistically a step in the right direction.
Okay. You made that seem a little more honorable and respectable, because I had the same figure for about rushing yards and I think rushing touchdowns, like 6, 7. 700 yards, about six, 7 rushing touchdowns. Man, you got too many weapons, bro. And yeah, we led the league in rushing last year. But that was more so a scheme shift after week 4 when Sirianni, credit to him, realized we just weren't a great passing team early on last year, so we kind of shifted the running. But ideally, you could tell Sirianni wants to throw the ball. I think the first unit came out, Miles Sanders didn't even have a rushing attempt on that first drive. But so I would take those numbers. I would take those. But for me personally, I need to see them more around. I would love, a great step in the right direction is you flirting around that 4K passing mark, just because the weapons are there, and I know the volume, you'll have the volume of passes because Sirianni likes to throw the ball. But I'll take anywhere between 3,600 and 3,800 passing in the air with 25 to 28 touchdowns. Would like to keep the interceptions under 10 to 12, really under double digits. But for a guy like him, I'll say under 10 or 12. But yeah, man, we got too many weapons, man. We got AJ Brown already pulling coverage for us. Dallas Goedert, I believe, is going to step in the top 5, maybe even top 3 when it comes to tight ends this year, man. That kid is a stud. Devontae, you know how I feel about D. Smitty. Got Miles Sanders in the backfield. And then the defense did pretty good, man. Kazir White, our pickup from the Chargers this offseason, he came and had an interception. First defensive drive. The D-line looks pretty stacked and loaded. Man, that boy Jordan Davis, man. That boy Jordan Davis, I feel bad for any team if we put him and Fletcher Cox in at the same time, and you think you're gonna be able to run the football down the middle, because them two big massive boys right there. But like Fletch always been a big boy. Jordan Davis makes Fletch look small, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's saying
sure.
something. That's saying something.
But I think Hurts overall, his biggest thing is people get fixated with his mechanics, which is true. But it's not necessarily his motion. It's more so just tying his legs in with like his arm. But his biggest thing is throwing with anticipation.
Yeah.
This is why I'm
guys open, not waiting.
Yeah,
to get open.
yeah. That's partially back to my Jimmy G discussion, because Kyle knows he doesn't throw guys open, so he always has to scheme guys open. I'm not the biggest fan of that when it comes to quarterback play, but the reason Jalen Hurts can be more effective on the game than like somebody like Jimmy is literally just because of his running. That is an element that has to be respected. He's not the flashiest runner, but he is fast. He glides. He's tough,
Strong,
and
too.
he's smart.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good year for him. I do want to temper expectations, literally just because I have to see him improve in that aspect, and he's gotten better each year, like a little bit, ever since he was a freshman in college. But it's just something else that has to be seen before anyone can say, I think he can be a 4,000-yard passer, because at the end of the day, 4,000 is still a lot.
Yeah.
Even the elite guys, sometimes they don't hit that mark.
Yeah, especially if they don't play all the games. It's a little more easier to get though in today's game with the added game. Yeah, and it being a passing game. But yeah, for him, those are lofty expectations. But I have him. I don't give a fuck. But for you're correct. About Hurts, another thing, I definitely did see some improvement with the accuracy, a little bit of improvement early on in that preseason game. The main question for me, man, with the kid, because I like him, just can't find myself to love him for real. It's just he doesn't hit the routine throws on a consistent basis enough for me from what I seen last year. But come so far this year, like I said, I definitely see some improvement. So I would definitely be looking forward to seeing how he performs this year, especially passing in the air. Before we move on, last thing with my Eagles, I also want to shout out the young Georgia boy, Nakobe Dean. At linebacker, he looks like another youngster. We might be.
I told you, as long as nobody gets his hands on him, he can run.
Man, I seen him meet a guy in the hole. He met a linebacker he met a tackle or a fullback in the hole and stuck stuck that guy up so much that tripped up the runner. So he's definitely fast. He can move for his size. For a guy, even though he's undersized, he definitely can run, and he's physical and tough. I like that young guy, man. Him, T.J. Edwards, and Kazir White. We're about 3 deep at the stack linebacker position.
Exactly. Because as long as you have 2 big guys in front of him and guards cannot put their hands on him, he's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Lastly, a little bit on the preseason, then we're going to dive into rankings here. Brother, was there any other notables? A bunch of games this weekend. Anybody that stood out to you throughout the preseason landscape after week 1?
I do want to say this: the Jaguars. I'm not going to pick them to make the playoffs, but I will say this: nobody picked the Bengals either. They look the part, and I think they have more dudes than what people want to give them credit for. So I think they're a team that's going to just be a pain in the ass for everybody. I think they'll win 6-7 games, honestly. And one thing with Trevor, he's cleaned up his mechanics. That was the one thing about Trevor when he was coming out, when everyone was saying, like, he's this top, like, he's the best prospect possibly since John Elway or Peyton Manning, or definitely since Andrew Luck. He was not the thrower that people were saying that he was. And we saw that last year. This year, he's finally tightened a lot more things up, and he looks so much better throwing. And part of the reason why he struggled last year was, yes, Urban Meyer was a dumpster fire, but part of that was him. Was him and his throwing. And he looked like he cleaned that up. And I'm excited to see him this year because I love Trevor.
Yeah, man, I second that notion. I think last week I went on record and said I believe he will have one of the bigger sophomore campaigns just because of that addition of Dougie P, my guy Doug Peterson as the head coach. I've seen the turnover already, some good things since he's already arrived. Definitely can see some improvement with Trevor Lawrence. You know, the biggest thing for a young guy, man, is just especially a young quarterback, is one, having a coach that believes in you, man, you know, and then 2, having a coach that has everything together, has his shit together, you know, because when you're playing in a dumpster fire like you were last year for Urban Meyer's Jaguars, it can just be tough to navigate, especially as a young guy. You probably walking into the locker room like, oh, okay, is this how we do things in the league? Like, probably fucked up his whole perception of what the NFL locker room was supposed to be like last year. So
I mean, like, they all said it. So
yeah,
like, definitely.
Man, the craziest story I think me and Zay had to go on live after and talk about it, but I was still shocked that the fool, I forgot, did they play in Cincy? They played somewhere last year where Urban stayed home and didn't fly. How are you the head man of an organization and you don't fly back with your team? Like, that made no sense to me, bro.
But as you know, whatever we hear in the public, there's a whole lot more that we didn't hear.
Facts.
So that's all that I'll say.
Yeah, in about 10, 20 years, we're going to get a lot from that 1 year out of a book or something. Or somebody going to come on the podcast here pretty soon and spill some more beans about Urban Meyer's tenure.
100%.
My last points on the preseason. A kid I really like, brother, that I could see being utilized this year. Heavy 12 personnel for the Ravens. Love Mark Andrews. We all know he's a stud tight end. They got a kid, Isaiah Likely. I don't know where this kid came from. You know where he came from, brother, with college?
I can't think right now because it's early, but I liked him in college. He's a very talented kid, and I 100% agree. My only thing is I don't know how much he'll play early on in the season. I think he's a guy that's more of a candidate that'll play like week 6, 7 on and really make an impact.
Yeah. You can't see him playing over Andrews right now, stud tight. But like I said, I definitely can see some 12 personnel packages where him and Andrews is in there. He's definitely shifty. I like what I seen for that young boy. Really all Ravens here. Another one was 85. I can't think of his name right now, but the receiver for the Ravens. He's a big target. He's like a 6'5" kid. I think he had a touchdown too as well in the game. But I was just looking at him as potentially that big body target that Lamar could also use on the outside in the pass game. And then lastly for me was Kyle Hamilton. I was very big on Kyle coming out of the draft as a safety. One of my Eagles to draft him. I believe the Ravens took him in front of us, like a pick or two in front of us. But it looked like he struggled a little bit, man. It looked like he struggled a little bit out there and I believe he played most of the night. I know he played all of the first half. I'm not sure if he suited up or came out in the second half. But he let Malik Willis break contain. I think he was on the blitz. That's how Malik Willis got outside and scored that one rushing touchdown. That was all on Hamilton. Got to attack the upfield shoulder. Took a terrible path to the quarterback and let him break contain. But yeah, it looked like he struggled just a little bit, probably adjusting to the speed of the game at the next level. But I think he'll be all right just because they have some outstanding guys on that defense. And I think that Ravens defense is going to be top 5 this year. I love the pieces that they added and the guys that they already had. But yeah, I was definitely having my eyes on Kyle Hamilton this past preseason game.
I think he's going to be fine. His biggest thing is just going to be studying film and just being in the right place. And I have no doubts about that. The only knock in his game is like he doesn't have like elite speed, but I'm not worried about him. He's one of those guys where I don't care what his 40 time says. That kid plays fast.
Gotcha.
He plays fast and he's going to be ready. And having Marcus Peters and all of those corners is going to give him time too. So
I didn't know they still had Tony Jefferson too, brother. The Ravens, OG Tony. Yeah. And I heard the announcer say, so they got Mike McDonald now as their DC, right? Did he come from Michigan, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, okay. The Baltimore Ravens have Mike McDonald now as their defensive coordinator. Seen some things I like. Definitely would be interested to see how he uses the pieces that he has on defense for this season. But I remember hearing the announcer say, well, Kyle Hamilton and Tony Jefferson, you could really just leave Marcus Williams in the back in the free, let him roam. He was like, I believe the announcer said, these outside linebackers are actually vying for a spot just on the roster because these safeties. Yeah, he was like, man, these Baltimore, like, he was like, they can keep 3 safeties on the field if they want because these guys are.
Like aside from his talent, that's why they took him because they're linebackers the last like 5 years, honestly. They have not been very, very good at all.
Yeah. So, I like. Didn't they have CJ and they lost CJ, right? Mostly, I like when they had CJ. Yeah, they should have never lost.
He was the only one.
Yeah. Let's dive into our rankings, man. Finish up the pod on a good note. Let's stir the pot up a little bit. Let's go with corners, brother. We got corners and safeties here. You want to start with corners?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. We want to start at the top or start at the bottom?
Bottom.
Okay, cool. Rip through yours, I'll rip through mine, and then we can discuss.
All right, I got Tre'Davious White at 10. I have AJ Terrell at 9. I have Patrick Surtain at 8. I have JC Jackson at 7. I have Jaire Alexander at 6. I have Denzel Ward at 5. I have Marlon Humphrey at 4. I have Xavier Howard at 3. I have Jalen Ramsey at 2. And I got Marshon Lattimore at 1.
Like Lattimore. I know you always like Lattimore. That's cool. So yeah, I got who's your 10 again?
I have Tre'Davious White, and I put him over Slay just because this means something to me. Whenever players talk corners, they always bring him up. And even though he doesn't play a lot of man, I think that still means something. And he's also younger than Slay. And Slay's still really, really good, but I just gave him the edge because everybody brings him up. And even corners bring him up. So I think that means something.
I actually had White a little higher, too, especially if he just wasn't hurt. I love White. Let me rip through mine. I got to show a little love to the Nickelbacks here, man. And I wanted to put somebody else here, but I ended up going with Kenny Moore. I got Kenny Moore number 10. I think he's damn near the best slot corner to me right now in the game. Yeah, Kenny Moore is a dog. Went back and watched a little more of your boy AJ Terrell last year, brother. I'm gonna give him his credit. I'm gonna put him right there at 9 where you got him at. And more so for me, it was just the respect of what he put together last year, the type of season he put together last year, not allowing any explosive plays. Like I think he only allowed like 22 explosive plays the whole season.
2.
Yeah, but it's the fact that what he had around him.
Exactly. That's what
yes.
I was telling you last night. Dude, like,
because just the year before that, they were like all-time terrible in the on defense and giving up some of the most yards ever in NFL history. So for him to have the type of season that he had last year, I had to tip my hat to him. AJ Terrell's my number 9. I got Marcus Peters number 8. You know, I'm a big fan of ball hawks, taking the ball away. Feel like he'll be right back in the mix once he's healthy. J.C. Jackson's number 7. Love J.C. Jackson's game. He's another ball hawk. I love the addition of him to the Chargers defense. Got Denzel Ward number 6. Love Ward's game. One of my favorite young corners since he stepped into the game. I love Ward, a big, tall, long guy that can run and he can read it real well. Darius Slay's my number 5. Big play Slay. Got to show love to my guy. One of the better man corners in the game. I love big play Slay, man. He's always one play away from changing the game for my Eagles on the defensive side of the ball. Number 4, my 3 and 4. You know what? I'm gonna swap it just because I feel like he's not better than Lattimore right now just because he got hurt last year. I had White ahead of him. I'm going to go ahead and put White at 4 and put Lattimore at 3. I love White, man. I love Tre'Davious White from the Bills. Like I said, before he got hurt last year, he was playing top 5 football in the league last year as well. That Bills defense was, for real because of him. He's one of the key components to that defense, and I believe they sorely missed him last year in the playoffs, especially against the Chiefs. They could have used him. I'm going to go with Lattimore at 3. Love Marcus Lattimore. Straight dog, man. I love those battles he has with Mike Evans. They're some of the best battles to watch every year. You get that twice a season. Love Lattimore. I know you've been big on him since he came out of college. He went to OU, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, been big. Keaton been big on that guy. And then I got Jaire Alexander as my number 2. I love that guy, even though he was hurt and dinged up a little bit last year. A little undersized, but he's tough. He's physical. He'll put his chin strap in there and tackle, and he's one of the better coverage guys when he's fully healthy. I love Jaire Alexander's game. And then number 1, I'm going to still go with J. Ram. He would tell you first and foremost before anybody he could have had a better Super Bowl, but I still think he's the top dog at the position. I will act me personally, especially for him being that size and being that big, I would personally like to have him being a little more impressed man than playing as much off as he likes to play. But I don't know if that's just the safety in him or whatnot, but he be playing off like he Asante Samuels or something. Like he just reading it all game. I'm like, damn, like bro, you 6'2", 6'3", you long as fuck. Come put your hands on these cats, man. That's my first preference.
Well, he said he likes to see plays to develop now. Which is why in the playoffs overall he was struggling. Because he was not disciplined. I was gonna put him 1, but I thought about it, and just for me, like Lattimore, when he's at his best, he's better than J. Ram to me. Because he's a guy like because you can put him on anyone and he's done. I have Ram too. Because I do think I think he's getting too much flack for the playoffs. But in terms of just being like an island corner, I don't think he's better than Lattimore, Humphrey, Denzel Ward, or even Jaire or Xavier Howard. But he's still a dude in terms of like overall his game. He's still, you can say like he's one for sure, but I have him 2.
And I think he could be clear cut and far away as that number 1 guy, J. Ram, if he just got a little more consistent with his technique, man. If he's just a little more consistent with his technique, he doesn't have that Revis, Dion technical acumen to his game. If he had that's really all he's missing. I know I had this conversation last night with a guest brother. Coming out of college, I still believed he was a better safety. Me personally, I didn't really see the shutdown corner on tape coming out of college from Florida State. I see it obviously now in the league, but I always thought he had a higher ceiling at safety. But I feel like he probably played corner to have that longevity. What do you think?
So I saw him in high school too, like, because as you know, like I see most of these guys coming out. I thought he was a corner because I liked how physical he could get, and I thought when he's at safety, sometimes he takes up space.
Gotcha.
I think he's a guy, and sometimes he falls into this trap, which is why they moved him to star this year. He needs to be engaged throughout the entire game and just be like around the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He falls asleep too much at safety for me, and at least at corner, he's more locked in and he's more engaged because he's a very competitive guy, and he's like, this guy is like not beating me. I saw that shutdown corner in college when like he was allowed to play corner, which he really only did part of his freshman year and like part of his junior year, but it was only in like spurts. So I think he's a corner more than a safety, but he is a guy that can transition to safety at some point though.
Got you. I don't think me or you had Howard on this list. Xavier Howard.
No,
I'm a
I
big
had him.
yeah.
No,
You did?
I had him 3.
I'm a big fan of Howard. I believe over the last 2 years he took a little lost a step. I seen, who was it last year? It was a rookie that gave him fits last season. Fuck, what rookie receiver was that? I can't remember the game. I was just watching it last night. But yeah, I still like Howard. You know, man, I was real high on him a couple of years ago. You can't. Diggs got it last year, but it's hard to get double-digit interceptions in a football season. So you always want to tip your cap to a guy like that. I just feel like he's taken a step or two down.
I disagree. So for him and Marlon Humphrey, sometimes they have games where guys have big numbers on them, but they get asked to do things that are just impossible to like win, bro. Like
I feel like Humphrey does because he gets moved around more. Howard
he does, but it's still zero coverage like all the time, bro. Like as much as I love a lot of these guys, like they're not asked to always do the things that he and Humphrey are asked to do. And even Byron Jones, like I even considered Byron Jones a little bit because I do think he's underrated. He's just not a ball hawk and stuff.
Yeah, I've never liked him. Always been a good cover guy. Yeah, he just can't get his hands on the ball. I've never been a fan.
Yeah, but like you have to give the nod to guys that can do both. So which is why I didn't put him on there. But they're just asked to do things that are just so hard, bro.
Yeah.
Like if Jaire was asked to do what they do, I don't think people would view Jaire as a top 5 corner.
Gotcha.
Because he can't match and mirror and do those things like the same way.
Yeah.
Like what they get asked to do is hard. And I give them that nod, bro.
I believe Humphrey just missed my list. I'm a big fan of Humphrey. I love Humphrey. Dynamic playmaker on the defensive side of the ball, a guy that you can really move all over the place. But I think that's kind of why I left him off my list, because he's kind of a tweener for me. Can't really tell if he's an outside. I thought he was initially just an outside guy. Last year, they kind of had him more in the slot. He dominated the slot as well. Been a leader in forced fumbles since he damn near came in the NFL. I love the kid. I love the kid's game. Like I said, he's like a Swiss Army knife on defense. Could probably even play a little safety. I just couldn't find a set position for him. He floats around for me, so that's why I didn't really throw him in my top 10.
Well, that's why I move him is because he can move. Like he's a true travel island corner. Like that's why they play zero. Like that's why they play zero coverage. You can't put Marcus Peters in his spots.
Mark is not no man corner.
Nah, like Marlon is the only.
I'm saying healthy Marcus, but the reason why I have him on my list is just because I value takeaways. I value taking the ball away from the offense, and nobody's done that better than Marcus since he's come into the league.
I definitely understand that, but for me in 2022 NFL, I think at corner, I value guys that you can just leave out there on like an island because the offenses are so good now. Like you got to play a lot of man coverage without help. So I more so value guys that are now just like island shutdown guys, and that's just me personally. And I think safeties are more so the guys that are going to change games in terms of like takeaways and whatnot now, personally.
Yeah, I just think it's tough, man. These receivers nowadays coming into the game, they're so dynamic and explosive. And you know, that's why they're trying to find those long, big, tall corners to match up. But I just feel like it's tough, man, for first of all, you know, any man corner or any corner just doesn't want to play man all game. It's impossible just because you're gonna get a guy tired running and traveling all game. But
And that's why I give Marlon the edge, because that's what he does, no matter what defense is called.
Yeah.
It's same thing with Zave and Howard, no matter what defense is called.
Yeah. But no, yeah. Yeah, I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah.
I can't be mad.
Yeah, so that's just me.
Let's move forward. We got safeties here, man. Let's talk a little bit about our safeties, our top 10 safeties. You can rip through yours. I'll rip through mine. Go ahead.
I got Antoine Winfield Jr. at 10. I got Jevon Holland at 9. I got Jessie Bates at 8. I got Harrison Smith at 7. I got Marcus Williams at 6. I got Budda Baker at 5. I got Derwin James at 4. I have Kevin Byard at 3. I have Minkah Fitzpatrick at 2, and Justin Simmons at 1.
Bro, take Harrison Smith out of there. He's stealing somebody's spot. He's literally stealing somebody's spot, bro. That Vikings defense was atrocious last year.
And this is why I still get, because he still plays at a high level, but he has no corners.
Damn all that, brother.
He's the only guy on this list that has 0 corners. Zero.
Plays 2. He be out of plays 2. I've never been a big fan of Smith.
Because he's got to make up for all those trash, bro.
Ain't he a Notre Dame kid?
I don't remember where he came out of.
If you on them Notre Dame cats, man, especially they say I think he's a Notre Dame kid, man. Even back when he had a healthy Xavier Rose before Rose fell off the hill, like, and this was back when Smith was having some of his better years. Because he can't really cover, man. I'm not a big fan of Smith, man. Did you go rip through your list, brother? My bad.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I ripped. I got Holland number 10. I got Jimmy Ward number 9. I got Winfield number 8. I got Marcus Williams number 7. Did you even have Marcus on your list?
I had him at 6.
I got Minkah number 6. I got Jessie Bates number 5. I got Budda Baker number 4. I got Kevin Byard number 3. I got Justin Simmons number 2. And then number 1, this is more, I guess this is some bias. I'm a Badger fan. I'm sorry. Tyrann Mathieu, he still gets it done for me personally. Yes, has he taken a step down? Yes, but instincts is still second to none. As far as a defensive back, I would take his instincts over any other, corner included. I'll take his instincts and awareness over any other defensive back in the NFL right now.
Wow. Dude, I love Honey Badger too, but 1?
Bro.
Like, so I disagree that he's top 10, obviously, but like if someone had him in top 10, I'd be like, all right, but 1, really?
And like I said, that's a biased pick. I for sure feel like it's a biased pick. I definitely think he's top 10, and I believe he hasn't fell off the ladder as much as people make it seem like. First of all, I want to give him the same credit that I gave AJ Terrell as far as from last season and what he was working with. Keaton, what's the name of the safety that plays the opposite side of Honey Badger the last 2-3 seasons in Kansas City? I know you know him.
Early on in this season, it was Daniel Sorensen.
Sorensen's cool. Bro. Sorensen. Come on, bro. Come on.
No, he's trash.
Come on, bro.
Yeah,
it was him. I thought it was another white boy that was back there with him.
No, it was him. Sorensen.
That's what I'm thinking of, man. It was come on. Come on, bro. And then Ward getting hit up on the outside. He ain't never really had no corners in Kansas City. All you really have was rush. I've never been high on Ward.
Very solid guy, and he has legit Snead too. Like he's just very solid. Actually, Snead's really good.
Solid. They both
he's
solid.
He's really good, actually. Snead can be a Pro Bowl player. Actually, he's really good.
I don't know. I couldn't tell. Watching the Chiefs defense, the only two consistent pieces to that defense the last few years has been Jones, and he even cats off sometimes at D tackle, and then you got Honey Badger on the back end, man. And when
For
you put a
last
guy
year,
like
I would flip that. For me, I would have taken Snead over Honey Badger last year.
yeah, I could, brother. He covers up all their mistakes on the back end, man. And I've seen Sorensen get hit up so many times, and it's literally like opposing teams go in the game and say, "Oh, we finna find a way to isolate the white boy." And I've seen him get cooked so many times. I'm sorry, bro. And a honey badger had to look over like, bro, what is you doing? I'm sorry. I think he'll have also a big bounce back year this year with the Saints.
Well, yeah, because he won't have. Well, yeah, he won't be asked to do as much, and I don't think he's physically gifted enough anymore to even be considered there.
I never thought he was a physically gifted specimen, though. He was always an awareness and instincts guy.
He's not like a specimen, but like he still lost a step, bro. Like that's still like part.
But that
of
was
those
never. But I'm
mistakes.
saying, brother, that was never his game. We never gave him credit for being a crazy athlete or anything. We
But
always say he was a baller.
But he was underrated at that, though, is what I'm saying.
Got you.
Like, as great as his instincts are, if you can't get there, like you won't make that play no matter what you see develop. So like that's what I'm saying. Like
Got another one I feel like that flies under the radar. He's gotten his due a little more over like the last 2-3 seasons, but really for his whole career, I've loved Kevin Byard, man, for the Titans. Yeah. He's really like the captain for that Titans defense with Mike Variable in the crew, and I love his game.
He is a ball hawking guy, and he's the definition of an eraser, and I'll put it like that.
Brother, real quick, I want to piggyback to the corners real quick because it's another guy that I realized me or you didn't have on our list, probably for similar reasons. Trevon Diggs, man, because like I said, it's still hard at the end of the day to get 10 interceptions in the NFL. Because to me, the interception, that's damn near like one of the hardest plays to happen, to develop.
He had 11, I think, actually.
Yeah, he had like 10 or 11 last year. Why don't we have Trevon Diggs on our top 10 for corners?
He's Marcus Peters, but Peters is more disciplined.
Exactly. I'll take that.
And I'm sorry, he would have had to break the NFL interception record for you to give up the most passing yards in the NFL. He gave up 1,000 yards last year.
In man coverage.
Yeah, he is good, and when he is disciplined, you see it because like he is a good athlete for the position. Like he's not freaky like Denzel Ward or like Jaire or like.
But he's a really good athlete though for the position.
He is a really good athlete, and he has good size. But he just takes too many chances for me at this juncture. Yeah, he was on the bubble just because of like how good he is as a playmaker, but for me that's not enough especially in like today's NFL.
Yeah, man, I gotta say the same exact thing you said right there, brother. Talented guy, but just not enough. Just not enough, man.
I'd probably have him just off the top of my head 13, 14, and that's only because of that playmaking aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that bump.
Yeah, exactly. It takes too many chances. If he can clean it up a little bit, as far as from a technical background in his game, I think he could damn near be top 10 for sure. But he has a lot of things to clean up. His eyes get very jumpy. He's another big man. I don't know what's up with these big, tall corners that love coming in and playing off so much. I mean, he'll press a little more, but he likes playing off too. It seems like. I don't know. I guess these guys like cluing or reading number 2 and seeing the quarterback, which is cool. We got anything else here?
The only thing that I wanted to go over was my initial reaction to the first half of the top 100 list.
Go ahead.
I did like seeing Odell on there, that he got his respect. I want to say this right up front. I don't know football more than players do. but this is something that like you and I both know about guys. During the season, guys really don't pay attention to other teams like that.
Nah.
And when I see some of these lists that are just done by players, like this is how it's done. They're given this sheet and they're told to like just like check off like a few names. But like a lot of guys are just like they don't pay attention like how like they're actually playing now. Like they just recognize like a name and they'll be like, oh yeah, sure. So like I don't know how Justin's and like I get not everybody can be a top 25 or top 50 player, but some of the guys that are down here like Lattimore, Justin Simmons, Zach Martin.
Simmons was low, way too low.
Yeah, like Denzel Ward for me, like I just did not get it. Like Jason Kelce is one of the 2 to 3 best centers in football, and you got him 71. Like I get center's not the most valuable position, but like come on, bro. Like, and then I have to say this: I'm tired of the older players getting some of these awards when they're not top 5 at their position anymore. Like Tyrann Smith, he's a Hall of Fame left tackle. Obviously, I don't think anybody debates that. But he made the list, and I'm trying to like temper what I say because I want to see how like the rest of the list unfolds. But he made the list, and I don't even think he's a top 5 tackle anymore. And I know
the game. He could barely make it through a game.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And like I highly doubt that there'll be like 7 tackles in front of him on this list. So like that's like my point. Like that stuff kind of bothers me.
Yeah, man. First of all, I would definitely want to shout out my guy Jukes, man. The fullback for the 49ers. He made it on there.
100% deserved it.
Whatever his last name is, I don't want to fuck it up.
It is used check.
There you go. Shout out him, man. Got a little bit of fullback love in there. I was happy also to see Jimmy Ward on there as safety. Definitely like Jimmy's game. I think he's a dog that flies under the radar a little bit at safety. Me personally, I wouldn't have put CD on there. CD has too many drops for me personally and still hasn't really bust a bubble yet in the NFL for me. He still got to drop his nuts and make a few things happen. And then the same thing with Mac Jones, man. I'm a big fan of Mac and Cheese. I love Mac Jones last year. How the hell is he 85? He's over names like Marshon Lattimore, Kyle Pitts, Von Miller, CD Lamb, or Jimmy Ward. I didn't understand that.
That's what I'm like. I will say this. This seems to be a trend with what the players do. And I think some other factors come into play. If there's a rookie quarterback that plays well, even if he should or should not be on the list, they kind of just like put him on there. And he was the only one that did. So that kind of seems to be a trend. So that's the only thing that I can say. But yeah, I would not have put him there. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
but he did do very good things last year. So this isn't me shitting on guys, but I just think they're like Lattimore at like 89. Like I don't get it. But
another guy I like to actually give some credit to for being on the list. I'm not sure if he was on last year, but he's definitely one of the best playmakers in the game. Cordell Patterson, he made it in at number 73. Definitely love his game. Yeah, I love his game and how he transitioned himself from being a return guy to try to be a receiver to being a tweener guy. Now he's kind of found a role for himself over there in Arthur Smith's offense for the Atlanta Falcons as that running back pass catching threat out the backfield. Let me see.
And also, like, Mathieu Judon at 52, like, he's a really, really good player. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be on the list, but he's not, in my opinion, I don't think he's better than the, 48 guys that are behind.
I thought Roquan Smith was pretty low too at linebacker at 84. I actually like Roquan. I think he's like one of the top 3-4 linebackers.
I think so too. I thought he deserved to be a little higher, but hey, I guess at the end of the day, not every player can be a little higher. So
yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this player, brother. He's a solid player, and he had 18 touchdowns last year, but I still think it's relatively high for him. James Conner at number 80.
I think that's just more so respect for how he bounced back after Pittsburgh letting him go.
Got you. Okay.
But I tend to agree. And like Budda Baker at 67.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. He should be and he was 17 the year before. That made no sense.
And I do want to give a shout out to Quandre Diggs. He came in at 72. I love his game. He's, as much as I love B-Wags, like historically, like he's still really good. And this is another thing with an older guy. He made second team All-Pro last year, which I had no idea how he did that. But Quandre Diggs, he was the best player on that Seattle defense. I still like Jamal Adams. And like Jamal Adams also, because like we just like discussed safeties, he gets asked to do things that are impossible. So like he looks like he's playing worse at times than what he really is. But Quandre Diggs has been the best player on that Seattle defense for like the last 2 years. He's a really good player, and I'm happy that he finally got respect.
Yeah, and then my last two comments on this list, man. Denzel Ward, I think you already mentioned it. Denzel Ward and Marshon Lattimore, way too freaking low. 87 to 89. They should be at least 50 above. That's ridiculous.
Like as much as everybody loves offense, I mean, those are two of like 5 guys in this league where you can just put them on somebody and they're done. like
those 2 guys right there, just those 2 names alone, they're behind Derek Carr. And I love Derek Carr. Derek Carr, arguably, maybe a top 10 quarterback. But let's say he's not. You got him above 2 cats is at least top 5, top 10 at their position, and Ward and Lattimore.
Yeah, and honestly, and I have to say this too, Devin White over them, I don't understand that, but hey, what do I know?
I love Devin White, but sometimes people be forgetting about his teammate. Like sometimes he's not even the best linebacker on his own team.
Sometimes.
Yeah, Levante David is a dog.
He gets, and unfortunately for him, Levante David will not make it to the Hall of Fame because he doesn't have enough accolades, period. But overall, and it's just, especially for this sport specifically, and if you're on like the defensive side, if you're on a crap team for so long, like nobody knows how great you really are. He's been a Hall of Fame level guy for almost his entire career.
Yeah.
And I know Devin White came in with like the top 5 draft pick tag and hype. But since he's been on the Bucs, he has not been the best linebacker on that team. Yeah, it's been Levante David.
And while we're speaking on backers, my last point. Demario Davis. Definitely want to tip my hat to him, give him his credit. I feel like he's right where he should be at 74, just because he is a little older, bit of an older player. But I've loved the Saints defense for the relatively the last 3 to 4 seasons. I think the last 2 seasons specifically, they damn near has had a championship level defense that you definitely can win with. Believe they have that again this year if all the pieces come together and they work together. But he's the centerpiece to that defense for the last 5 years. I think he has 5 straight 100 tackle seasons. Mm-hmm. Like I said, he's firm into the right spot at 74. Definitely want to tip my hat to Demario Davis.
One last thing. I'm happy that Jeffrey Simmons is on here. I think he's too low because when we do defensive tackles, he's not number 1 because we all know that that's Aaron Donald, but there's a real case that he's second over Chris Jones, and I'll leave it at that. There's a real case for that. So
yeah, he a monster. That boy Simmons a monster, man.
So him as 54, I thought that was low, but I like I said, like I could probably go through a lot of players on this list that I think could be higher, and it's only 100 spots. So,
Gotcha.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Well, man, I think that's everything, right, brother?
Yep, that's it.
All right, man. Well, y'all have a good one. Thank you for listening in. Got more guest pods and other pods coming up as weeks come, and we're getting closer to football season, man. Week 1 is slowly approaching, but we're about, 4 or 5 weeks away?
Yep. We got
Let's go,
4
man.
weeks.
Definitely football season. All right, have a good one, brother.
All right, later, brother. Bye.
Wow.
We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the Huddle fire with no with DLane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the